Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Daily Healing Journal where I'm sharing my healing journey in real time. So, today I'm going to talk about how we can get through when we have to revisit either physical spaces or being in the presence of the abuser. So, like today, I went through an experience where I had to sort of remember some of the things that have helped me heal. I had to return to a space with a friend of mine for safety reasons so that I could retrieve some items. It's really important that you can find a friend who's trustworthy and somebody that you feel safe around just to make sure that there's a buffer. Thank goodness I did this. And, I'm not going to go into the details of what happened, but what I am going to say is, when I first got there, my body immediately knew because all the memories pop up. Okay, so my hands started shaking, right? When I was trying to retrieve certain items. And this can happen because all of the memories, even just the energy and the vibe, right? Of some of these spaces that we've been. It could even be a place in public. It could be a local bench that you sat at and something happened. I mean, it really can be anywhere. But, when you start to shake like that, what I did was I checked myself. I'm like, am I breathing? And I wasn't. I was holding my breath. Okay. And we do this when we're nervous. We do this when trauma is reactivated. And even though considered I'm considered, especially I think through therapy, I'm pretty healed when it comes to, I'm not in the reactive state anymore, thank goodness, because I've healed myself through that. But what this can do when you revisit spaces is you can start to feel nervous, and sometimes everything you've learned can feel like it went out the window. But with the support of a friend and of course these breathing exercises, this helped me so much. I remember I was like unplugging something and I was like, remember to breathe. Okay, this person cannot hurt you. Okay, even if they're being creepy and acting like they've always acted, like they have an agenda to be conniving and strange, right? Breathe. And anything in the past, it's not the past, it's the present. And all of a sudden, with these breathing exercises, especially the box breathing, where I talk about you breathe in through the nose for 4 seconds, you hold it for 4 seconds, and then you let it out your mouth for 4 seconds, and then you hold your breath for 4 seconds. That creates that box breathing, and it's very, very helpful. I know that it requires you to pause what you're doing, but if you're feeling triggered or you find yourself holding your breath, at least breathe through the nose and let it out. The body remembers, okay? And this is strange, but there's an instant vibe. And if you've been through narcissistic abuse or any abuse at all, or anything traumatic, you understand. So sometimes when soldiers come home from combat, when they're around fireworks, that can immediately trigger them, right? Even though they know that they're fireworks, even though they know the fireworks are coming, right? The sound can re-trigger the trauma and reignite that PTSD. So there's certain tricks that we can do to remind our body it's okay, you're not in trouble. You're not being chased by a lion, you are not being attacked. And a lot of times if you've been attacked by these situations, specifically people, and you're around the people that attacked you, it can feel very triggering. Okay. But that's why you bring a friend or law enforcement for safety reasons. Your body's always going to be on high alert because it's going to protect you. Okay. And that cognitive dissonance that I was talking about in yesterday's video, that's what this is. Okay. So, but again, it's okay to be on alert, especially if you're around someone who has hurt you in the past and it's requiring you to be in their presence because of something, right? And for me today, that was I needed to go get some stuff that I needed to return to an internet company. Okay. So, it's certain things you have to do, right? Real life things. So the power of breathing it's just, you guys, you gotta try it and try to practice it so that when you're in a situation like that, or prepare before you get into the situation, okay, what am I going to do to stay calm, right? What am I going to do to remind my body that I'm not in trouble? Because guess what? Even if you are in trouble, your body's going to react and you're going to be able to get out of there. But the goal here is to stay safe and calm. So what helped me in these moments too, especially when this person is beginning to harass us, is, if you're just if you're just focused on getting the job done and getting out of there as quickly as possible, that's what I recommend. Okay. And if you're revisiting a space where, let's say, for example, I remember somebody in my family didn't want to go to a specific venue for a Christmas celebration because it brought back a lot of really triggering memories for them. And so, in this instance, you have to remember that you don't have to go. You don't have to go. And I didn't have to go today. I chose to because I didn't want to get charged by this company hundreds of dollars for equipment that I'm no longer using. Okay. But again, and today I learned that next time, I think that if I'm ever in a situation like this again, I'm going to have law enforcement with me so that I feel safe, because this is how I feel and that's how it is. And it's that way for a reason. This isn't made up stuff. So if you feel that way, if it's worth it to go in there, do it. But otherwise, safety first, you guys. Always safety first. The thing about the narcissist is that they try to get you with their strange and sly and almost creepy ways, right? Where they just kind of stare at you and give you this really strange look, and don't even look at them, don't give them eye contact. Luckily, I am not emotionally attached to this human being anymore. I have moved way on past that. And, so it's much easier for me to combat that. And I can't say the same for certain people in my life. There's certain people, okay, maybe they're family members that we have even a deeper, longer connection with, that maybe we're not ready to be around yet. That's okay. All right. You have to listen to these things. And it's okay also to have a friend help you. Okay. So if you don't want to go to these places, you don't have to. But don't get stuck up in here and what am I going to do, and I can only do it this way. It's not true. There's always more options on how to handle a really difficult situation. And if you don't know, ask a friend or ask law enforcement what they would recommend in a situation where you don't feel safe. So again, and today what really helped me is I anchored myself in gratitude, right? So as you look around in surroundings where you were abused, okay, and maybe something had happened physically where you like look at a space and it brings back that memory, right, of something really bad happening, or just being in that presence, is starting to trigger you. Just remember that you can ground yourself with gratitude. And so I just kept focusing on my friend that was with me and the items that I was picking up and trying to go, okay, did I get everything? And just one step in front of the other and continuing to breathe. And it's so important that we do this because it keeps us focused on what we're there for. And if you're revisiting something where maybe the person isn't there, or whatever abused you or hurt you in the past maybe isn't there, and I use that fireworks analogy, maybe, you know, pay attention to the birds. Okay. If you know that you're in a safe space, but it's just triggering you, try to focus on things that are going to bring you joy. You can even use that trick that I told you guys about of focusing on, okay, find something that's red. Look at all the things that are red and find all the red things, okay? And little mind games like this that just keep you focused on very innocent things that aren't going to hurt you. But I can't say this enough. If you are surrounded by someone who has hurt you, go with a friend or call law enforcement to go with you. I can't even believe that I'm saying these things out loud because I never imagined that I would be in a place of having to explain how to handle something like this. But it's really important to me because of that reason alone. I fell victim, unfortunately, to this kind of abuse, and I'm still having to kind of go through it. This journey is a real time recovery journey. And so it's important to me to be extremely honest with you. And I don't really want to go too deep into this, but last night I had a little bit of a meltdown knowing that I was going to have to enter this space again. But I'm going to show you a real quick clip right here where I I just had a meltdown because it hurts. It hurts. And this was a moment where I was letting go still of a lie I had been sold.
It's one of the moments where it doesn't make sense. It's not fair.
Okay. This isn't, I'm still in love with someone. This isn't, I still wish I was with this person or around these people. This is true, like, acceptance of, I I don't know exactly what's going on in my life right now other than healing, and that's okay, and I'm accepting that. It also hurts me. I know that some people have kids that are going through this. Some of you have reached out to me. My heart goes out to you. I wish that I could give you more help on that. I don't have kids, so I don't want to overstep my boundaries and I want to stay in my own lane on that. But I can recommend therapy, that one, number one. But I do have dogs, and one dog went with another person, and one dog went with me. And it's heartbreaking when you see these creatures that still love you and don't understand. And the other day, my little dog Truffles was screaming because she saw some people from our past, including one of those animals, and she was screaming so loud, and it just broke my heart because she doesn't understand why we must keep walking and keep our distance. And so I can only imagine what this is like with kids. And I promise I can't speak from experience if you've gone through something like this with children, but what I can do is share my journey and open my heart to you, and just know that as I heal, I'm actually going to be offering certain courses and certain things, even that involve art, okay, and music therapy, so that you can reteach your brain that it's okay to let go for a little while and heal and do something that's safe. Okay. And I know that this might sound like gibberish to those of you who haven't gone through narcissistic, psychological, and physical abuse, but it's very serious stuff because it shapes our world, you guys, because these damaged people are damaging other people. What is that saying? That hurt people hurt people. Okay. And so it's important that we put a stop to this. That's why I'm standing my ground on this and being so open with you about my healing and my story and my journey from my perspective. I would like to show you I'm actually fine. I'm fine. I've gone through quite a bit in the last 48 hours, and I will tell you, oh, welcome to Key West. Here they come. Come on in. Woohoo! But I have come so far in my journey, and you know, I think that the interaction today, like it, something like that would have been really triggering for me in the past. And the fact that I'm fine and I'm calm and I feel safe, and um, you know, even though in those moments I felt really creeped out, um, it's okay to go through this. It's okay to celebrate the wins and the rumination in the brain where you just kind of like replay things over and over again. Just remember that when you do that, you're going to get more of that. So once you have processed what you've gone through, remember that it's just as important to get that rumination going into the positives, okay? And I know that it can be kind of counterintuitive, but I promise it will help. And if these are people who have made fun of you, like this has happened to me, for being a woman, for I've been called fat, I've been called a cunt, I've been called a bitch, I've been called all kinds of things, and over and over again, by the way, and an idiot and all kinds of things, which I know better than all of that. But when you hear that stuff over and over again from somebody that you thought loved you and loves you, and then you start making excuses for these people, okay, and you have to go back and be around these people for one reason or another, it's okay. It's okay to tell yourself that you're strong. Okay, so when you're in these situations, I am strong, I am beautiful, I am kind, I am strong, I am beautiful, I am kind. Whatever you have to say to yourself to keep going, okay? Don't get stuck. Don't get stuck in the negative rumination, especially if you're in the act of being around some of these people. Some of you may be going through something where you have to go be around these people because they're still family, or maybe you work with them, or maybe you're in a court case where you have to see them at court, or anything like this. Just stay focused on you. Just stay focused on you. Don't worry about what they're doing unless it comes to the point where it's unsafe. Prepare yourself for that, okay? Prepare yourself to be guarded and have help. And if you don't have help, call law enforcement. I can't say it enough. And I was never the girl that called the cops. Okay, let's just get that out of the way. Never. I don't think I ever called the cops until I actually was in danger. All right? And a lot of these people can be very manipulative and pretend like nothing has happened as soon as law enforcement shows up. So that's why it's important that going there, if you have to go, bring an officer with you. Okay? And they will go with you. Just make sure that you plan it, okay? And do it the right way, okay? Or a very close and safe friend. But this is the kind of healing that people don't actually see, and people aren't as open about it and vulnerable about it, because especially when you're in the in between of still trying to get the past out of your life, but you're healing, okay? And that's what my number one priority was, even before all of this more recent stuff crashed and burned in my life. And I it was like this intuitive feeling that I needed to get on a healing journey. And initially, I've mentioned in my videos that I was going on a health journey and a mental health journey for the last couple of years so that I could prepare myself to be the best wife and the best mom, and but the best version of myself for me, so that I could be all those things. And I was actually preparing myself to fly solo in life. Okay? And that's okay. That's okay. I'm actually enjoying it. I'm very, very excited to not have a significant other in my life right now, because it's giving me the chance to really understand what I want, who I want to be, how I want to be, where I want to be. All of this stuff is so important, instead of just jumping right into the next thing, right? And I think that I, in my past, would jump too quickly into a relationship before I had time to understand if what I was doing or not doing needed to be worked on. I needed to work on myself. And I would make excuses of why I would enter in these situations too early, which I'll do an entire new video on. But I want to remind you that it's okay to stand in the presence of yourself and your healing, and make that your number one priority. So this doesn't always look graceful, okay? This doesn't always look pretty. And I don't want to sit here and upload really sad videos. That's just not going to help anyone. And also, I have to be honest with you, my sad moments now, after all this healing, they don't really last that long. Sometimes it's 3 to 5 minutes, and I let it out, and then it's gone. And then it's gone. Okay? And I commit myself to the healing again. And that's just part of it. And it's okay. You can let yourself breathe. You can let yourself shake for a minute, but just remember, and you can cry, whatever you have to do, but remember to pull yourself back to center. Don't let one side or the other pull you too far. So sometimes healing looks like shaky hands and deep breaths, okay? And if I can feel proud and strong after something like this, so can you. Because we all have this in us. We all do. We really do. So use your guidance system, and you know what? Keep breathing, keep going, and stay strong. Okay? I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Take care.